Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Bonnie. For those of you who are new here, my channel consists mainly of what I eat in a day videos, recipes, and right now I'm working on a pantry challenge in which I'm trying to use up everything out of my fridge, freezer, and pantry so that I can just get to the point where I can just buy what I need each week and see how that helps my budget. This week I'm gonna make a minestrone soup. I had probably most of the ingredients for this. I had to buy just a few items. So let me go ahead and show you what it calls for. To start off, I've got the vegetable broth. I had one of these already and I just had to buy one more because I know it usually calls for at least 1.5 to 2 cartons of vegetable broth. So this is one item from my pantry used up. And then I've got these little salad macaronis that I already had. Most minestrone recipes that I see have little tiny noodles, and this was the closest thing that I could find. I bought this a while ago, probably a few months back, and never used it, so it's gonna go to good use. One item down. Cannellini beans, I bought these in the past as well, and they've been in my pantry, so I'm gonna use them up in this soup. We've got diced tomatoes. These I always keep in my pantry because I use them in so many recipes. So they are technically an item out of my pantry, but it's something that I buy frequently. I've got carrots. I'm not going to use all of these, but I bought this bag of carrots with intentions to eat fresh a while ago. And when I realized I wasn't going to be able to, I just popped them in the freezer. So I'm going to take probably about a half to a third to a half, and chop them up and use them in the soup. I've got celery already chopped and prepared. I don't use much celery when I make soups and stews, so I always have extra and I just freeze it. And the same with onion and bell pepper. I had these frozen already from a previous recipe where I chopped half of an onion and saved the other half. This might be more than a half. And a little bit of bell pepper there. We've got colorful bell pepper that I also have chopped and prepared. So 3 items from my freezer, 4 if you count the carrots. And this garlic that was from my freezer too. I've never used this before. I really don't buy a lot of garlic. I just usually skip it in recipes. I don't find it necessary, but I know it probably adds good flavor. So I bought these a while ago and they've been in my freezer. One little square is 1 clove of garlic. So I'm gonna experiment in this soup. I've got 1 zucchini. Zucchini you have to buy fresh because they don't stand that long in your fridge. But this is a fresh item that I bought. Moving on to the seasonings, I'm gonna start off with olive oil, which I always have on hand. This is the extra virgin olive oil, which is generally what I use for soups and stews. Pretty much for anything that I cook. We've got Tony's Sashries, which is another go-to staple for me. Some Italian seasoning, which I use in most of my recipes, and parsley. I just find that this group of seasonings work well in most things. So this is kind of my general go-to seasonings. And then I'm gonna cook it in my pot. You need a good pot to cook soup in. That is my Le Creuset. It was kind of a Christmas present to myself. But these are the items for the minestrone soup. So stay tuned. I'll show you how to make the recipe. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. And of course, it was a snowy day. Perfect day to make soup. I just wanted to show you some of the snow. To start off, I'm just going to drizzle some olive oil down into the pot. This is probably about 2 to 3 tablespoons. I didn't really measure. Then I added my onion and bell pepper that was already pre-chopped and in the freezer. Moving on, I stirred that up a little bit to mix it in with the olive oil, and then added the celery that was also already pre-chopped, which made it much more convenient, and then the colorful bell pepper. All of these were pre-frozen. I forgot to mention in my ingredients that I always add bay leaves to my soups, so I added 2 little bay leaves at this point and just kind of stirred that up to help it saute and add flavor. I added some of the frozen carrots at this point. I didn't add all of them. I'm going to add some more later. And at this point, I added my little bit of garlic that I had frozen. At this point, I added the cannellini beans. I just added 1 can right now, but I'll show you later. I ended up adding a second can. At this point, I also added the diced tomatoes. At this point, I'm ready to add my seasoning. I start off, of course, with Tony's Sasheries. Then I add a little bit Italian seasoning. And lastly, I add parsley to tie it all together. Once all the seasonings have been added and allowed to simmer, I add the zucchini. I'm adding 2 zucchini this time. And finally, I added my vegetable broth. So I added 1 whole carton at this point, and later on I added a little more just because I felt like it needed a little more. I covered it with a lid, leaving it open just a little crack, and allowed it to come up to kind of a mild boil, a soft boil, or if you call it. And then once that was done, I lowered it down to like medium low, added some more of the carrots just to add a little more texture, and I decided to add a second can of the cannellini beans just because I felt like it needed a little something else. At the point when I was ready to eat it, I transferred some of the soup into another pot separately and added my pasta at this point. I prefer to do it this way and to add the pasta later because I find when you add the pasta right away when you're cooking it, it just gets too soft as it sits in the fridge during the week, and then you just have a big sloppy mushy mess. So this is how I always do it. I reserve the pasta to cook until I'm actually ready to eat it. And I reheat all of my soup on the stove. So each time I reheat it, I heat the pasta. And here we are at the end, the final product. It looks so good. It actually really was good. I added some Parmesan cheese that I had in the fridge, also another item I'm trying to use up. But this is it. This is my minestrone recipe, and I've got soup to eat for about a week. So just to show you, this was a snow day. This Louisiana girl is loving this snowy weather. But I took some time to take a walk to a nearby park and get my steps in, walking that way, and then spend some time enjoying the snow. I love watching the dogs play. They always get so excited when it snows. It just makes me so happy. Now I'm moving on to the second recipe that I had for the week. This is going to be a chicken wrap that I made. It's very similar to the one that I made last week. It just involves different type of salsa. And also I added the mild Taco Bell sauce. But otherwise, pretty much the same. But I'll go ahead and show you how I made it. This chicken breast, this organic thin sliced chicken breast that was hiding in the back. I used 3 slices or 3 pieces of chicken last week and made like a chicken wrap spread. And I'm going to do the same thing with the rest of the leftover salsa. This is leftover salsa from a restaurant that I had extra and I didn't use it up. I used up the big container, the like 8-ounce container the last time, and they had these little bitty ones left, and I think that'll be enough along with this mild sauce, Taco Bell mild sauce. And I'm going to thicken it up with the ranch dip. And once it's all done, then I'll mix in some Laughing Cow spread. This is the spicy pepper jack. And we're going to make another spread for the rest of my wraps. So I'm going to cook the chicken with the salsa and the mild sauce in my crock pot. And I'm starting off just spraying the crock pot with this extra virgin olive oil cooking spray. So first I'm gonna add the mild sauce. Just a little bit on the bottom, just to kind of coat the bottom so nothing sticks. Mild sauce. All right, I added some of the salsa. I'm gonna add another little container of salsa. There we go. That's the spicy one. We're gonna add the chipotle salsa. And I'm just gonna drizzle just a little bit of mild sauce to mix that up in there. Might be a little bit more than I thought. And the ranch. So I'm debating whether I should add a whole packet. Last time I ended up adding just about a whole packet. So that's about half. That's about half a packet. What should I do? What should I do? We'll just leave it at half. That's fine. All right, so I'm gonna put a lid on this. Move it over to the corner where the electrical outlet is and turn it on. Ready to go. I'm gonna cook it on high. I'm gonna put it on high once I set it up, and then I can keep an eye on it, but I don't wanna be cooking all day. I'd like to kind of finish this and have the evening to enjoy. So I'll touch base with you guys later and show you what it looks like. All right, so it's been cooking for several hours now. It's getting softer. I'm gonna break it up with my fork. Well, with the 2 forks, I just can't set the camera down to show you, but most of you have seen how people shred chicken with the 2 fork method. But I'm gonna let it keep kind of cooking for a little while just to incorporate all that water and see what we have when it's done. So here it is, a few hours later. I actually forgot about it. I went out to try to dig my car out of the snow and got a little sidetracked. But this is the end product. I shredded it about as much as I can. You see it's incorporated all of that water, all of that juice. So I'm gonna transfer it to this glass bowl here. Let it cool the rest of the way. Got a little burn on the sides, but as you see, it scrapes off pretty easy, so it won't be a big deal to clean. And that's the purpose of the oil. The oil, even if it does burn a little bit, it's easy to clean. So I'm gonna transfer it, let it cool, and then I'll probably wait till it cools completely to add the cheese, just because I don't know what'll happen if you add that cold cheese to this hot dish. All right, so the chicken has been chilling in the fridge for a minute. We're gonna go ahead and add the Laughing Cow cheese and make ourselves a chicken salad spread type of deal with the salsa chicken that was left over. So, no, kitty, get down. Someone wants to join. Get down, go. All right, we're gonna use up all the Laughing Cow that I have. So, well, all of the spicy pepper jack Laughing Cow. I'll have to find something else to do with the other ones, but this will be good. 2. Well, maybe I should start with 3 and then add a 4th. Let's do that and see. I don't know. I ended up using the last Laughing Cow cheese. I just felt like it needed a little more to kind of make it as creamy as I wanted it. All right, so that finished off 1 bag of chicken breasts frozen. That finished off the spicy pepper jack Laughing Cow. It finished off the salsa from takeout, and it finished off half a packet of the ranch seasoning dip. So we've got some success here. This will make about 45 meals. So the cat's looking hungry. He's trying to find a way back on the table. So I'm gonna close this out. Let's see, can you see him? What are you doing, Casper? Casper, trying to be sneaky. All right, so just showing you how I'm preparing the chicken wrap with the sort of chicken salad I made with the salsa chicken and the Laughing Cow cheese. So I've let it chill out in the fridge and it's all sort of come together. I've set my wrap on there, which is one of those La Tortilla factory wraps. Those are some of my favorites to use. So I've got a good sizable portion of greens. I'm gonna add a tablespoon or 2 or 3, quite a bit, onto there. And just add a little bit more. There we go. Now I'm gonna set the phone down so that I can try to wrap it. All right, so I made a wrap. It's not a bad one. I'm gonna go ahead and eat it now because I don't know how long this is gonna hold. But I may try to wrap it a little bit better. But this is the idea. So you got a lot of greens there, some chicken salad. I may go ahead and have a second one in a little bit if this isn't too much, because I didn't put that much chicken on there. So I could have probably put a little more, but I wanted to be able to wrap it up. So here it is. This is the idea. These wraps are only 80 calories a piece, so I don't feel bad having two. And I think they're the low carb ones. So, but they're good. I won't buy the other low carb types I've tried. They're just no good. These are actually really soft. They're really good. They're not like rough or anything. But this is my chicken wrap. This will be my lunch today, and then I'm gonna make some soup.